So in this class we will be dealing about conscience and truth. Conscience and truth. It is necessary to state that conscience is rooted in truth. Conscience is rooted in truth. There is a truth about man, law, and what is good and evil. There is a truth about man, law, and what is good and evil. Because truth is prior to conscience, conscience must respect truth. Conscience must respect truth. When fundamental truths are ignored, there is error in practical judgment. That is, the conscience will make false judgments when it fails to acknowledge the truth about things. So in this section we are speaking about truth, which is prior to conscience. What do we understand by truth? Truth is what is, the reality. Truth is the reality, the nature or the facts or the events taking place. That is what is. Then what is the conscience? Our conscience has to correspond to the truth. And the truth is seen in certain fundamental truths are there. The principles, the commandments, the rules and regulations, or the law of the state. All these are some of the fundamental realities. And the conscience has to correspond to that. So there is a conscience has the obligation to follow the truth. When do we say lie? We say very often, no? There is a lie. Someone is saying lies. When is considered as a lie? When there is no correspondence between the speech and the reality. When there is no correspondence between the speech one says, one speaks, and the reality one is corresponding to. That's why it said lie. That means not truth. So that's why conscience has the obligation to follow the truth. So truth is primer. Conscience comes afterwards. That's why he said no. Truth is eternal. Conscience is from person to person. It goes on. When a person dies, the conscience also died. But the truth is ever existing. So that's why conscience has the obligation. Saint John Paul II stated ethical goodness is only another name for the truth. Ethical goodness is only another name for the truth, comma, when it is sought by the practical intellect. When it is sought by the practical intellect. One cannot obscure or harm the practical dimension of the truth, without injuring its theoretical aspects. The encyclical Veritatis Splendor. Number 32. The encyclical Veritatis Splendor, number 32, shows the reason why conscience is subordinate to truth. Why conscience is subordinate to truth. In inverted comma, quotation from Veritatis Splendor, number 32. Once the idea of a universal truth about the good, comma, knowable by human reason, is lost, comma, inevitably, the notion of conscience also can change. The notion of conscience also can change. Conscience is no longer considered. Conscience is no longer considered in its primordial reality. In its primordial reality, as an act of a person's intelligence, as an act of a person's intelligence, comma, the function of which is to apply the universal knowledge of the good, to apply the universal knowledge of the good in a specific situation, in a specific situation, and thus to express a judgment about the right conduct to be chosen, the right conduct to be chosen. Instead, there is a tendency to grant to the individual conscience, there is a tendency to grant to the individual conscience the prerogative of independently determining the criteria of good and evil, independently determining the criteria of good and evil, and then acting accordingly. So here what the encyclical Veritatis Splendor is explaining is, if the person's understanding of truth differs, and his or her understanding of conscience also change. That's why there is a lot of room for improvement of our conscience, mature conscience and full developed conscience. Why the difference in the society, in the individuals, understanding of the things, following things and doing things, where the difference is coming? The difference is coming our personal side. Some have mature conscience, so they know this is becoming good, this is not becoming good, and if I go this path, I will grow in virtue. If I go take this path, I will be doomed. So some have that clarification, clear thought, clear mind, clear conscience, and some at the level of underdevelopment. So some conscience are scrupulous conscience, just like children, not developed well. So that's why when we are developing physically, also psychologically and spiritually we have to develop. That's what where our conscience also is growing, is a growing reality. So each one of us have that obligation. So if we are constant in respecting and responding to the truth, our conscience also will grow stepwise. That's why it's called a discipline in our life. What are we learning in the school, in the colleges, in the formation houses? What are we learning? We are learning the discipline, which is good. How should I imbibe the good qualities or good personality, and how I should eliminate the unwanted elements in my life, or unwanted elements in the life of a Christian, or unwanted elements in the life of a society. So that is a constant growth, constant observation, constant evaluation. That's why it's to live a moral life, to live a life according to conscience, mature conscience, is a serious obligation. And some of the people, they don't want to take the risk of getting no. Once you know what is good, what is bad, therefore what is the result? Result will be, what is good you have to accept, what is bad you have to reject. But some, they deny, they don't want to learn. I don't want to learn, I don't want to know. So that's evading the opportunities to know. So this learning or taking the path of maturity or clear conscience, developing a clear conscience is a lifelong process. Lifelong process. So it is not going to finish with our studies. It's not going to finish with our schooling or college or seminary formation. It's a lifelong growth. Conscience takes a lifelong evaluation of life. So that's why once we know the primordial reality, the truth, we have the obligation to apply it to the concrete situations. There's a challenge it brings. So, allowing ourselves to be taught by the primordial reality, the truth, then we have the obligation to follow it. So, there's a clear obligation, a serious obligation to follow the primordial reality. Then, in this aspect also, it is not very easy. Like if you put the switch on, it's not an intellectual work. Clear conscience or mature conscience is not a mere intellectual work. So knowing the principles, knowing the commandments, we ourselves know. Sometimes we know, but we don't do. The difference is we not knowing that we are not doing. We know, but we don't do. That is where our human weakness comes in. Our human weakness comes in. So it is a gradual growth in maturity in the life following Christ. So that's why we have this serious obligation to develop a mature conscience, but at the same time we should give respect to individual conscience. That's why always a individual conscience has to be respected. Therefore, conscience ought to freely embrace truth. Therefore, conscience ought to freely embrace truth. Since truth is a permanent light A permanent light. A permanent light which never fades away. Which never fades away. Conscience shares an innate capacity to come to the truth, Conscience is an inextinguishable light. Conscience is an inextinguishable light which is given to us by nature. Which is given to us by nature. Thus, when truth is present in our judgment, we are obliged to follow it. We are obliged to follow it. Conscience must embrace truth. Conscience must embrace the truth, the light. As Jesus said, I am the light of the world. I am the truth. So here, when we say truth, truth is one of the qualities of God. Truth is one of the qualities of God. Again, light also is one of the qualities of God. So, conscience is an inextinguishable light. What do you mean by inextinguishable light? Which cannot be blown off. Extinguishable means we can put it off. It can cease to light. Extinguishable. This is an inextinguishable light. That means it is forever. Conscience is an inextinguishable light. So, truth is a permanent light, which is one of the characters or of the qualities of God. So, conscience is taking a part of that permanent light. That is a innate capacity. Innate capacity is just by birth. By its birth, it has that quality. Like we say, can give you the example of iron, which has the innate quality for to be attracted by the magnet. So, other metals will not be attracted by the magnet, but the iron has that capacity to be attracted. So, also conscience, it is an inextinguishable light in every human being. So, the quality of God is also present in every human being. So, that is why it is an innate capacity. Because of that innate capacity only, humans have the tendency towards good, tendency towards God. So, that the supreme reality, primordial reality of truth is prior, and our conscience has the obligation to follow it. So, it is a journey towards God. So through conscience, through mature conscience, that's why again we will see later afterwards the difference of different consciences. Those who have not grown or mature, have mature conscience, they will not be able to make the distinction between good and bad. The inability to make a distinction between good and bad is a sign or symbol or the situation where we can say the person has not developed the conscience in a mature manner. Here we are speaking of the person, one who has developed, one who has a clear conscience. We can say mature conscience or clear conscience. The same, both are same. Clear, when you say clear conscience means, that's why sometimes when we talk some things, things are not clear to me. Do you follow me? Are you understanding? Are you clear? That is the way. So when we don't have the clarity, we ask for explanation. But sometimes, however clarification is given, they don't get clarified. Some of the situations, some of our attitudes or our intelligence, they don't get grasping the reality, the distinction between good and bad. What is reality, what is the illusion? They are not able to get the clear terms. And that's one of the incapacities. That's why otherwise all should get like storing, no? If the mechanical work is like understanding, is not a mechanical work. If the mechanical work means everybody will have the same result. Like a machines, no? Suppose you are putting a tape recorders 10, record. If all are good recording well, everything will record nicely. But our human intelligence or human capacity or understanding is differs. So that's why that difference also in our personal living comes. So there our personal obligation, personal response, personal understanding differs from person to person. So that's one of the important difference and obligation we have to keep in mind. So truth is primer. Truth is primer. Then afterwards, our obligation to follow the truth, our conscience is must correspond to the truth. Not that the truth should correspond to my conscience. Sometimes those who are in authority, they will say what I say is truth. But that is not the truth. Truth doesn't refer to any authority. All authority is under truth. Only we have to correspond to the reality. But that is called as a grave obligation, a serious obligation. So if you don't have that kind of following, then it is a great threat to the individual as well to the society. So there is a grave matter and a serious obligation on the part of the individual, also on the part of the society. That's why truth is not made by majority. Sometimes in our democratic way of the understanding, what we do? Majority is the right, majority is the truth, and majority makes the decisions. But truth doesn't change because of the majority. Because of the majority, truth will not exist. Truth exists, on a majority has to agree to the truth. Even individual agrees to the truth is true, is right. Even the whole society agrees to that is even if the whole society doesn't agree, truth is not false. Truth always exists. That's why it's a permanent light. It's like a sun. It's a permanent light. It is not depending that you say today sun is up. Yes, I recognize there is sun. It's not depending on our approval or non-approval. It is permanent. So also truth is permanent. And each individual have the capacity and the obligation to accompany, agree to that. Then the truth will be in us. So there is a conscience is an important element, a sacred element. Important and sacred and a grave obligation. That's why some of people don't take so much of this one risk or efforts to come to know the knowledge, to come to know the difference, to come to know the distinction between good and evil. Okay, let it happen. If many are saying, I will opt for that. If many are saying, many are agreeing, I will opt for that. But each individual has the capacity, and each individual has the right, and each individual has the obligation to have to develop mature conscience.